In a record shop named Kebo Stereo, the owner Leviathan Lee is sleeping with his head on the table. His sleep gets interrupted when the shop door opens and a woman with her driver enters his shop. She asks him if he's Leviathan, and after his confirmation, she tells him she is an executive director of the National Martial Arts Association. She says that she came from Guangdong. Her name is Crystal Lei and her grandpa is Howard Lei, and it is nice to meet him as he came into the martial arts field before her. After listening to her, Leviathan invites her to sit and he starts pouring tea for her. As he's pouring tea, he asks about her grandpa, to which she replies that her grandpa passed away last year, which makes Leviathan spill the tea. Crystal suddenly says to him that she wants to invite him to go to Guangdong with her, and it would be great if he could be their association's counselor. In reply to her request, Leviathan tells her that she must have heard about him, and he knows how bad his reputation is in the martial arts industry, so he can't help her much. Crystal says that bad is not a strong enough word to describe his reputation, and those may not respect him, but they are clearly afraid of him. Leviathan replies by saying that she is telling the truth, but she should have came earlier, because recently he has been diagnosed with acute myelocytic leukemia. And she is an educated person, she knows how severe the disease is, so he can't help her. Crystal says that she understands what he's saying, but her grandfather devoted all of his life to the association, and she can't see it becoming a tool used by the politicians in power struggles or corruptive activities. Leviathan is still not convinced and replies that he hates politics struggles most, but he doesn't know how to differentiate her from those despicable politicians. He then continues that he is a seriously ill patient and he can't help them with anything. Leviathan says that they can stay for dinner if they want, but if they don't know where the door is, and gives his condolences for the death of Mr. Lei. Crystal still doesn't give up and says that her grandfather always admired him and used to say that only Leviathan had the sort of cynical character that is necessary for martial art practitioners. She says that whether he takes her offer or not, she still hopes that his precious personal trait won't go away, and she puts her contact card on the table in case he changes his mind, then leaves with her driver while Leviathan is watching them leave. Leviathan's face starts bleeding due to his illness, and after a few hours, he decides to close the shop, but while closing the door, he is stopped by a zombie whose face looks rotten and his eyes are bright red. Leviathan recognizes the man as Crystal's guard, but before he could take any action, the zombie throws a kick at him, making him stumble back, crashing into the counter and knocking over all the CDs. Before Leviathan can recover, the zombie runs toward him, and he again tries to kick Leviathan with all of his force, but this time, Leviathan takes quick action and he punches the knee of the zombie, breaking it in the process. Leviathan gets a close look at the zombie, which even makes him more disgusted. He then takes hold of the driver's arm and twists it back, breaking it in the process as the zombie roars in pain. Leviathan thinks that he has incapacitated the zombie, and then he casually starts to walk away, looking for his phone. But the zombie again comes from behind to bite him. Leviathan has already sensed the presence behind him, so he back kicks the zombie without looking, causing the zombie to fly back and crash into the wall. He sees the zombie lying unconscious on the ground and is thinking about how scary looking he is, but then all of a sudden something snaps inside his head and he starts to feel dizzy. Leviathan is confused by his condition and is thinking if it is because of leukemia when he suddenly blacks out. In his unconscious state, he sees some flashes of his life, like his meeting with the doctor, him fighting in the ring and stabbing through a general of an enemy army. He also witnesses a woman with great power in shackles. When he regains consciousness, he is still lying on the shop floor and a man approaches him. The man comments on the fight, saying that the zombie used Tantui skills and threw several kicks in a row, which gave him the upper hand, but the more surprising thing is that Leviathan managed to turn the tables. The man continues that it is said that Lee's family is best at using spears and swords, but now that he saw the battle with his own eyes, he realized that Leviathan and his family are also great kung fu fighters, even with their bare hands. Leviathan slowly gets up to the couch and asks the man where that woman is. The mysterious man replies that the zombie has disappeared, and he is not related to them in any way, but he still shares something common with them, as he is also interested in Leviathan. He says that Leviathan don't have to worry because he just wanted to say hi through the thought of that man with the crew cut, and they don't know about him. The man then takes out his card and tells Leviathan that he can call him Tapir. Leviathan, in reply to his long speech, only asks him if he wants to eat dumplings, making the man laugh and reply. Tapir then says to him that he can save his life, but what he will offer is not some lousy bone marrow. and he brought something better than that. Leviathan asks Tapir what he wants from him, to which he replies that he will know when they will give it a go, but he needs to understand that once he makes his decision, there won't be any turning back. Leviathan says that his situation can't get any worse either way, and urges the man to tell him the offer. Tapir excitedly says, "Let's get started," and just then a huge cloud of black smoke enters the shop from behind him, which surrounds Leviathan and turns his vision black as a voice welcomes him to the Netherworld. Leviathan feels himself falling down into a deep pit with big chains around him and lightning bolts striking in the dark sky. He falls on the ground of some ancient mansion, inside the pool of red blood, and in his half-conscious state. He sees some demons looming over the sky and hears a woman telling a person named Xingzhou to wake him up. He is suddenly thrown into the red water again, and he sinks down while thinking, who was that woman? When he wakes up again, he's in a boxing ring, this time where two men are beating each other up. He recognizes the place as an illegal boxing match arena and looks around for the strange, chubby man from his shop. Suddenly, a system message appears in front of him, which addresses him as Lord Xingzhao, telling him that he is in the Netherworld and they have prepared a new identity for him so no one will find him suspicious and he should relax and have fun. The screen changes to another one which tells him about his first mission in the Netherland. The mission window reads that it is 1986 AD and the place is Kowloon City. His mission includes 3 nether incidents as requirements, which are his staying in the ring till the 7th opponent comes, getting a random piece of the ancient novel The Sunken Crook, and awakening the Ubume bird in the ancient novel The Sunken Crook. His mission will start when he fulfills any one of the above-mentioned requirements and the time limit of his stay is 1 month, but if he loses the boxing match, the mission will be seen to have 0 progress and he will be brought back to real life instantly. As the next page appears in front of him, Leviathan can see his health status and talents, giving him an idea of his strength. After seeing his talent and martial arts skills, he realizes that he still has space for improvement. As he's thinking about this, he feels someone approaching him from behind and he quickly turns back to hold the man's arm before he could be attacked. The man known as Miss Nine says to Leviathan to not stand here like a zombie and gets in the ring to fight. Leviathan is a little bit confused as the words just disappear in front of his eyes, while the man shouts at him to keep up. Instead of replying to the angry man, Leviathan is thinking that if Tapir can bring him back to 1986, to this place called Hong Kong, then he can surely cure his disease. Just then, when the host announces that they are inviting the player whom their audience has put the most bets on. As Leviathan steps toward the ring, the host announces that the person is an amazing warrior, and he declared to defeat every opponent in this ring, including the 6 boxers who haven't got on the stage. Leviathan tries to get inside the ring, but the host tells him to go away as he continues his speech about the upcoming fighter, saying he was born in Thailand and learned boxing from the reputed Comet of Southern Thai, the kind of boxing. His name is Putlalurk. Leviathan still gets inside the ring and takes a fighting stance as the host says that this person has practiced boxing for 20 years and for the first opponent, he would definitely choose some wimpy guy to kill time and will only get serious in the last round. As the host's speech ends, the ultimate fighter with blonde hair charges at Leviathan with his max speed and delivers the first punch, which Leviathan easily dodges by ducking on the side. Before the boxer could regain his composure, Leviathan holds one of his arms with one hand and punches him in his stomach with the other hand. Leviathan then tries to kick the fighter but couldn't attack further as the host stops him and tells him to go away, saying it is not his turn yet. The host then formally introduces the fighter named Puchai as the audience chants his name loudly. After waving to his fans, Puchai chooses Leviathan as his first opponent, so the host asks him to come to the ring. As Leviathan is heading toward the ring, he observes a red light emitting from Puchai. Leviathan jumps inside the ring and quickly delivers the first hit to Puchai by kicking him in the back of his knee, which throws him to the ground. A strange man in the audience keenly observes his fighting techniques. Puchai regains his composure and takes his stance again, ready to attack Leviathan. He moves forward, saying that it is his turn, but before he could attack Leviathan, once again, he takes the first hit, and Leviathan throws a strong punch at him, which he blocks with his arms. Leviathan then kicks him in the knee with his full force, which cracks his knee bones. Everyone could hear the sound of bones cracking as Puchai lies down, yelling in pain. The host is shocked by the sudden turns of events while the audience shouts angrily at Puchai, saying that they lost all of their money in this bet. The host is standing still and Leviathan tells him to announce the winner. The host reluctantly raises Leviathan's hand, declaring him as the winner of the match. Leviathan then asks the host that Puchai declared that he would defeat everyone in this ring, but now that he has lost, who would be the next opponent against him? The strange man from the audience speaks first, saying that the game won't continue until someone places the bet, as people placed bets on Puchai for him to survive all the rounds, and based on that, Leviathan got an opportunity to get in the ring. The man says that if no one places bets on him winning against all of the opponents, then he will have to leave because the bunch of fighters standing there are no match against him. The man then takes out a bundle of cash and asks Leviathan if he will dare fight with his man, and whether he loses or wins, he can get $50,000. Leviathan thinks to himself that is a huge sum of money in this era, but he has to go back in 1 month, and no matter how much he earns, he can't take it back with him. Just then, another system window appears in front of him, telling him that the money can be used to exchange for 5 nether points, but he can only use to trade for other things with money after it is confirmed to be owned by him. After Leviathan agrees with his offer, the man turns to Mr. 9 and says that he is glad they decided to keep the game going and they can choose which boxers they like and he will make the arrangements right away. 9 says that he can't let his players into the game because it is a violation of the rules, to which the man says that he can't pay $50,000 to watch some clowns fighting. He then says to 9 that he just wanted to have his guy get on stage, and he will pay as much as the organizers ask for, as none of the rules of the committee forbid an outsider to play. He then tells 9 to go away. 9 quickly leaves the stairs and goes to Leviathan. 9 tells Leviathan that the man in the white suit is a new emerging leader of the Woolly Victory Gang, so Leviathan should take the few punches and lie down so he can easily get the $50,000. Leviathan agrees with 9's suggestion while looking at some blood coming from his nose, and he thinks to himself that even though he is still having a fever, throwing uppercuts feels very good, and as he is still alive, this is the right way to live a life. Meanwhile, the man in the white suit tells his fighter named Victor to get on the stage and have fun with this 8-trigram palm master. As Victor quickly jumps up to go in the ring, the man in the white suit gives a briefing on Victor's life, saying that unlike those who have studied martial arts for only 3 or 5 years, Victor has spent over a dozen years in martial arts study, and in any national martial arts training institute, he is qualified enough to teach students. According to him, in the past, Victor had a battle against a kung fu master expertised at Cheng's 8-trigram palm skills. He lost the fight, and in the end, his 5 ribs were broken and his right ear went dead after that, so over the years, he has always been hoping to battle again with an 8-trigram palm practitioner as he wants revenge, and today is the perfect opportunity for that. When Victor goes on the stage, he introduces himself to Leviathan, saying that he studied at Deuce Boxing and gives a polite greeting. They are standing, facing each other, and as soon as Leviathan introduces himself, Victor charges at him. Victor tries to hit him with his elbow and knee together, but Leviathan manages to block the attack by stopping Victor's arm with his elbow and his knee with his hand. Victor then quickly delivers a strong and fast punch, but his attack is again blocked by Leviathan, who uses his hand to stop the punch, but he stumbles back to keep his distance. Leviathan is impressed by Victor's skills and thinks to himself that he shouldn't have underestimated this small-town martial master. As Victor says to him that he is very arrogant, Leviathan replies that he didn't expect a tiny gangster to be an expert at Deuce Boxing, but now he will take this fight seriously. Leviathan then starts running toward Victor with full force, and as he is about to deliver a powerful punch, someone from the crowd shouts at them to stop. They both stop in their tracks and look toward the entrance, where a man with red hair makes his appearance into the arena with a bunch of people following him. The man in the white suit signs and says that it is the Red Phantom. The man in the white suit turns toward Red Phantom, saying that it is a surprise to see him, and then asks him what he wants now, as his committee member Mr. Wu messed with them while their Wally Victory Gang just wanted to watch a boxing match in Kowloon City, and now Red Phantom is actually trying to drive them away. Red Phantom lights a cigarette before replying, and then he says that what happened between Mr. Wu and Wally's Victory Gang is not their concern, and they count on the boxing match to make a living and follow Tai Tsui. He says to the man that they treat his boxing arena like a pigsty, which is a major violation of their rules. The man replies that he will be honest with him. Victor has been longing to fight someone good at 8 trigram palm skills, and he didn't mean to break any rules, as his only intent was for his best man to have a boxing match with their boxers. And now, Red Phantom turning him down on this tiniest favor is like a slap to his face. Red Phantom says that rules are rules, and he don't care what his intent is by sending his people on the stage. He will be seen as a challenge to them. Victor suddenly jumps out of the boxing ring and asks Red Phantom if he followed all the rules. Will he be given the opportunity to have a boxing match with Leviathan? Red Phantom replies that for that, he will have to start from the first round. If the committee regards that the two of them have close enough scores and there are people willing to place heavy bets, then they can have a boxing match. The man in the white dress says that the gang leaders all care about their buddies, but when Red Phantom doesn't reply to him, he stands up to leave the arena with his group. Before following his boss, Victor says to Leviathan that few players in this boxing ring are traditional martial arts practitioners, and it is a shame that today they couldn't have a match. But after he gains his footing in the boxing industry, he will come back to have a match with him. He starts to walk away when Leviathan asks him if the bet of $50,000 still counts, to which he gives a positive reply. After Victor leaves, Leviathan is sitting alone on a chair when another system window appears in front of him, telling him that he got 5 nether points, and in this incident, he activated an additional right of purchase. It then shows him his purchase limit, explaining that he can gain amazing reading, which can help him gain information about other people so that he would know their weaknesses. He can directly put this skill into use every time he gets someone's information. He will have to pay 1 nether point. He can also choose to spend 10 nether points in buying this skill, and after the purchase, he can use this skill as much as he wants. He can also purchase the Cell Strengthener, which releases strong healing effects on the damaged body suffering from diseased blood or hematopoietic cells and brings vigor to the user's blood. If the user is an ordinary human, there is a small chance for this user to gain the ability of blood activation. In this new window, he can also see a message from Tapir that says that this purchase will not bring him a full recovery. At least, he will feel better. The window shows him another option to buy, which is a cell supplement that can bring strong healing effects to the deceased blood cells and other cells. It can also add to the user's blood vigor, and if the user is a healthy man, he or she will gain the ability of blood activation. The system tells him that the additional rights of purchase granted by Tapir to him can be exercised in every nether incident, and after 3 nether incidents, this gift no longer exists. As he reads a message from Tapir saying that he feels like he is treating Leviathan well enough, he realizes that this is what Tapir promised to give him, and this thing can cure his disease. He thinks to himself that he doesn't have much time to wait till 3 nether incidents happen, so he has to get enough nether points here, and to reach this goal, he will have to earn a large sum of money. Leviathan then walks into the city and goes to a shabby-looking apartment building where he's supposed to live in, making him angry at his agent. While standing there, he remembers his earlier meeting with Red Phantom. As they stand at a bridge, looking over at the city, Red Phantom tells him that this town is the famous land of freedom, and everything goes wild here. He says that every year countless fugitives come here for sheltering, and they either become hatchetmen or underworld boxers just like him. But in Kowloon City, without the committee's permission, no one would be bold enough to provoke a fight because all the gangs obey the committee. Red Phantom says that at this very place, the boss, the master, and the lord are the committee, and if he wants to make a living by playing underworld boxing matches, then he will have to follow Tai Tsui, the general conduct counselor of the conduct committee of Kowloon City, and he is the ultimate boss of all the underworld boxing business in this city. Red Phantom then says to him he heard about Leviathan as he had a stunning performance, and he knocked down Puchai with several kicks and punches. Red Phantom then offers Leviathan to be his subordinate and box for him, and in return, he will be rewarded with money, women, or whatever he likes. Leviathan in reply says that he was told that he is playing in the 4th ground and asks if he played in the 5th ground or above. How much can he earn from those? Red Phantom tells him that the 4th round is just a small fight if he wins. He takes 5 grand, and if he loses it, he will still get 1 grand. The first 5 rounds are available every day. As long as someone places bets on him to play the game, he will earn money. The 6th round happens every now and then, but not every day. And not so many boxers take part in it, so it happens 3 or 4 times each week. He says that if the boxer wins the 6th round, he can get 30 grand, and if he loses it, he will still have 5 grand. Also, if some rich guy is willing to pay more, he has the right to make the boxers use weapons or fight in a cage. In those cases, he can earn hundreds of thousands of dollars overnight, but it is life-threatening as many people died in it. Leviathan thinks to himself that in order to gather 300 nether points in 1 month, he will have to earn $3 million, and there is no suitable way for him to earn this much money. He comes out of his deep thoughts when he hears the voice of a cat near him. He looks around to find a cat wandering there, and a little girl soon comes there to take back her cat. Leviathan turns to the girl and asks her if she knows where room 413 is. The girl seems to be a little scared by him but still leads him to his room. And as he gives her candy as a reward, someone calls for her asking who is she talking to. She quickly goes into her house saying that she is talking to no one, and she just went out to look for her cat. Leviathan heads inside his apartment, relieved by the fact that he got a family as his neighbors. Somewhere in a casino in the city, a man named Git tries to sell an ancient map in place of his debt. After some time, somewhere in a dark alley, Git is being harassed by 2 people who say to him that he can't give them the box of dead people's money in exchange for real dollars. They push him down on the ground, throwing the box toward him, and Git leaves after saying that he was not trying to fool them. Git shouts at them that they don't know what they're missing as it is an ancient antique. But they continue to walk, saying that they don't want to see his face again, and if he came here one more time, they will beat him badly. As he's shouting at the men, Git fails to notice a man who is about to bonk him from behind. The mysterious man hits him in the head with a stone. The attacker then takes the map from him, and he seems to be quite happy. Git calls for help in a desperate manner, and the mysterious man gets ready to bonk him again. He keeps on bonking Git until he dies. On the other side, Leviathan is fighting in an arena, and as he knocks down his opponent, people discuss among themselves that he has won 5 rounds in a row. He belongs to higher levels than 4th, and it is unfair to let him stay here. Red Phantom is also in the arena, standing close to the boxing ring, and signs at Leviathan to come at him. Leviathan follows the orders while asking what he wants from him. Red Phantom says that if he keeps fighting like that, even the stupidest man knows he will be the winner every time, and he don't want to suffer losses for that. Red Phantom then offers him to go with him, saying that for the last round, he will take him to a bigger stage. Leviathan is intrigued by this idea and asks where the big stage is, and if he's going to make more money there. Red Phantom takes Leviathan with him as he explains that this place is called the Fuyi Building. The audience here is either very rich or powerful, and they would spend at least $1 million in only one night. He explains that the boxers here live on commission, so if he wants to make a name, he has to get himself a sponsor with deep pockets, and he will pull the strings for him. Leviathan only needs to mind his language. They then enter huge doors of the building and are welcomed by a young beautiful girl who asks Red Phantom where he had gone for the whole night and asks him if he was trying to avoid her. Red Phantom addresses her as Miss Judy and replies that she shouldn't be angry as it will bring wrinkles to her beautiful face, and he was only out recruiting new members. At the mention of a new member, Judy's attention turns toward Leviathan, and she says that she likes his cuteness. She says that even though Leviathan is cute, she still doesn't like seeing her guys get smashed after 1 or 2 rounds as she can't handle the humiliation, and says that Red Phantom should go in the ring instead. Leviathan quickly interrupts, saying that Red Phantom is his boss and he can't let his superior dirty his hands, so it is not going to happen. Judy slowly stands up and goes near him, whispering that if he wins, she will let him feel her love. Without any reply to her, Red Phantom takes him outside and says that Judy is one of the biggest sponsors of Kowloon's Underworld boxing, and her late husband used to be a judicial officer who had over $10 billion. He says that if Leviathan becomes her fighter, he will be able to make a fortune, and if he wins today's game, he will rise to glory as the legend of the 6th round, and it has been a long time since he last recruited a new member and is now hoping that Leviathan will not bring him shame. Leviathan replies that he can be a legend of boxing, but he can't be intimate with Judy, and as long as Red Phantom will not pimp him out, he will box in whatever way he likes, as he thinks to himself that $3 million are nothing for Judy. Later, he's in the ring, getting ready to fight a boxer named Zhou-nan, who is a serial killer, and the notorious outlaw from Japan. Zhou-nan is an expert at guns and knives, as well as a master of Okinawa-style Goryu karate. Tonight, he has already won 3 rounds in a row, and among the 3 players he defeated, the least injured fighter got 2 arms dislocated, kidneys ruptured, and then he even passed out on the stage. Leviathan stands on the stage facing the fighter, and as soon as the handkerchief touches the ground, indicating the start of the fight, Leviathan lunges at the man. His first attack is to deliver a fast palm attack at Zhou, but Zhou manages to dodge it even though it was super fast. Zhou blocks his attack by holding his arm, but it only lasts for a second as Leviathan takes control again. Judy is looking excited as Leviathan is holding his ground against a veteran fighter. This time, Leviathan kicks Zhou right in the face, which sends him flying back. Red Phantom is also surprised by the fact that Leviathan is a fierce fighter and remembers that he heard about him that Leviathan stayed a few years in Guangdong, and he is more skillful at the southern martial arts than most southern kung fu masters of the same age. Leviathan is still focused on his opponent as he tells him to give his best or he will lose. He then curls his fingers together to perform a powerful fist attack, and then he hits the man in the shoulder with it. Zhou is in pain, but he tries to bite Leviathan in his desperate attempt, but Leviathan breaks his nose by attacking him with his elbow. Leviathan doesn't stop there and starts punching the man repeatedly with a barrage of punches. Each punch is very powerful, and he manages to push Zhou back. At last, Zhou lies on the ground unconscious with his face all messed up. People around the arena are impressed by Leviathan. One of them says that he will offer $1 million to let him play and be his sponsor, while some other people encourage him to play another round and even use the weapons. Leviathan ignores all of them. Judy, who was watching the whole fight on her TV screen, is quite impressed by Leviathan, and she thinks he's quite handsome.